Welcome back to Go Again Gaming, and welcome back to the league that means nothing too. The stakes have never been lower. I'm Ian.
And I'm Connor. We are here today to cover a game between our own Jamie McCabe of the Irish community and Carlos Gonzalez, who we've seen before.
Uh, we saw him in person, in fact.
Yeah, it was great. We got to meet up with him and Carlotta at
PT
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was awesome.
And Jamie McCabe is Ireland's own bubble boy, captain,
Yeah.
the ninth place captain.
So
No,
yeah, we're looking at a matchup between New, who Carlos is going to pilot, and Dash, which Jamie's on. Jamie's got a lot of experience on Dash. We've seen Jamie on Dash a lot before,
Jamie loves Dash.
but New is a pretty rough matchup, I think,
Oh,
generally
yeah.
speaking.
Well, I want to banish your deck.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
banish your deck.
yeah. There's only so much deck
Yeah,
for which we can banish.
it's true. Now, Jamie has a lot of experience in this matchup, pairing into the two news in the room at Irish Nationals this year and having a less than optimal time.
Yeah, no, it wasn't
Uh,
ideal.
Carlos, we saw last time on KO.
Yep.
He was also playing KO in the Pro Tour. So
Hmm.
obviously he's playing something a little bit different.
Something new, even.
Anyway, and if anyone didn't see it, Carlotta, his lovely wife, was also cosplaying as new
Yeah,
at
I
Pro Tour
did. It
Amsterdam. So
was
maybe,
awesome.
so anyway, we are closing in on the end of round one.
Hmm.
And let's see how this game goes for Jamie and Carlos.
Well,
Anyway, we've got the stereotypical Spanish cut going on that we've seen before. We reveal a dice one, two, and three, and you get to choose which order they get stacked in the deck. Make sure no one's cheating. Um,
makes sense.
and Dash, obviously, on that gorgeous playmat from Worlds 2023, the
Hmm.
adaptive plating.
And
And
Carlos also keeping it on theme, and it looks like he's got some Japanese cards there actually, which is really cool.
yeah, well, Assassin, you gotta have the pricey cards.
Yeah, that or actually, I think it was just the camera effect. These are all in English. I'm just dumb.
Jamie
Uh,
starting with the induction chamber.
yeah,
Obviously, planning for a longer game. We're not boosting our way through this one.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense just because the boost plan is going to be playing into News hands pretty handily,
Yeah.
I think.
A very easy way for Dash to filter as well, just by having the pistol in there. So if you're going first, it's great. You can either set up an item or just filter your cards, or just
Or do
play
both.
just play the best item in your deck.
Yeah, no, this is a good start for Jamie.
Yeah, yeah, very good start. Very strong. Tekla core, one of the best items you can get into play.
Hmm.
Uh,
Now, I know there's been a reasonable amount of dashes that have been going away from the hybrid strategy,
mm,
as in they don't do the whole defense reactions in their sideboard thing. If Jamie is on a list like that, that's more boost focused, it could still be a case that he's going to have to boost a certain amount, which could make things rough for him.
it could be. Anyway, we've got a beckoning Mistblade coming in here from Carlos, pitching a Marvel Chi.
Stir the pot by the look
It
of
is
it.
stir the pot. Obviously, Assassin historically has its own tax.
Hmm.
It is one of the more expensive decks you can play.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're going to do that, you can't just come here with common looking transcend cards. You have to
Yeah,
really go all in. So Jamie taking the one by the looks of things anyway. So I assume Carlos is going to follow this up with a blue.
yeah. I mean, sometimes it's the threat, but no, this
Oh,
time the threat is actualized. It's
what
a
a
very
card.
good one to give go again and +1.
Yeah. This is going to be levels of enlightenment, all modes. Well, kind of above.
Yeah, smaller buff, but yeah, he's choosing draw, so it'll be 4 go again draw card.
It's pretty handy.
Yeah, it is very decent.
Yeah. We've got the blue enlightened strike.
Yeah, I'd imagine Jamie is likely to eat this just because New has so many more disruptive effects that could follow it.
Like, it's just four flat damage. It's not banishing any cards. It's not doing anything too scary.
Hmm.
And here we go, following up with another dagger. This time it's the spider's bite.
Yep.
And Jamie's eating that too. He
Yeah.
is setting up to do some damage. And
And
a leave
here's
no
the
witness.
disruption.
Double, like, yeah, crown. Get rid
Crown's
of that.
down.
Arsenal to the bottom, draw a card.
So
What disruption?
yeah, Jamie's done a pretty good job of fading the disruption here. It'll be interesting to see if Carlos has a reaction here or not. Looks like he might be thinking about it.
It's a tough one to call because that seems to be the last card in his hand. So if you play it, you probably just force through some more damage, but
Yeah.
it might be better used saving up for next turn.
No, for sure. It can be. Ooh,
Banishing
Techlocore getting banished at random there off the top.
banishing the
Really
cold foil
surprised.
Techlo core by the looks of things as well.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta know that's his favorite Techlo core in the deck.
Yeah.
All right, we have Techlo core trigger at the start of Jamie's turn, 2 resources floating, and a BIOS update. That's pretty good.
Very
That's a good
interesting.
start. A +3 to his next boost card, and if he banishes an item for a boost cost, he gets to put it into the arena.
Yeah. Seems like really interesting anti-new tech. It's extra damage that you don't have to banish for, and it takes cards back out of your banish zone if they get boosted.
Yeah, so we have a 6 go again coming in here from Jamie. And the other thing about boosting all these cards as well is like when you put blues in there, that's just fueling news end game turn. I
Hmm.
mean, I've seen someone in this very casting booth play someone else's Techlo core.
Yeah, it's really messed up when you get to do it.
Just free
Turn
reason.
zero as well.
Right? And we've a zipper hit coming in for 5,
Yeah.
2 cards in hand.
Still nothing in off that BIOS update.
No, well, I think your odds of hitting it in Dash IE are pretty low as opposed to
Yeah.
Dash IO, where it's about a quarter of your deck, roughly.
Um,
Ooh,
block
full,
coming in from Carlos here.
with a prismatic ley line.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Ah, and a good old Thoughtseize.
Yep.
Pulse.
Pulse Wave Harpoon. And Carlos is in the unfortunate position of having blocked right before it came down, which I've been there before.
Yeah, so giving up that command and conquer,
Yeah.
taking
Well,
one.
unwillingly, I'd imagine. If it is a reaction in Carlos's arsenal, then he's having a rough time here because his hand is Chi card, Fate Foreseen. There's nothing to react on.
You better hope that's a sink below in Arsenal, because
Or even just an attack that he can pitch for would be fine, as long as it's not a case of like dagger pass.
oh no, everyone's favorite. Yeah, Jamie just landing a pistol shot to end that turn,
Looks like
setting
Carlos
an
took the
Arsenal.
two, so I imagine there might be something relevant coming out of the arsenal here.
One can only hope, because this is not an enviable position to be in, because there's not a lot you can convert a blue and a defense reaction into here.
No, no, not at all.
Oh, it's a dagger.
This is the start. I'm holding out hope.
Could be a one cost. Could be a one
Could be a
cost.
one cost or a zero cost. But it's a
No.
second dagger.
Oh, that's
Could
rough.
still be a zero cost. Could still be another Leave No
Yeah.
Witnesses.
It's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah, this is the downside of new to a certain extent. Is now, to be fair, that time it was disrupted, but it's very easy to draw a hand that doesn't have the CNC there, and it's still pretty non-functional. It can happen fairly frequently.
Yeah.
Something you have to be careful about when you're
And
playing
we've
here.
another BIOS update. Jamie is running. Boost once,
Ooh,
boost
hitting a
twice.
Teclo core. That
Two.
is a fantastic pickup.
Oh, you couldn't be less happy if you're Carlos right now. What do you mean you're hitting me for 8 and locking in 4 resources for free?
Yeah, that's insane. +3 and 4 resources off of BIOS update.
Yeah. Now you
Absolutely nuts. For
Jamie
zero.
Jamie cashing in a double boost there, so this could mean any number of things. It could be a max velocity, it could be another pulse wave, or
Yeah.
it could just be I'm digging to see if I can hit an item with this BIOS update.
Still a full grip as well.
And yeah, Carlos just blocking 3, taking 5, 3 more cards to come here.
Yeah. We could very easily see something like a max velocity at the end of this.
Very, very comfortably, I'd say.
Yeah. And that Goliath gauntlet sitting there would push a very significant amount of damage.
That's disgusting. That Jamie obviously took his lessons from nationals this year with his 2 games against New and is just coming in with a vengeance.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely not the item plan. It's not um the plan where you kind of put in the D-reacts, play defensive. Jamie's just scraping the paint.
Ah, and Spark of Genius here.
Yeah.
For those wondering about his disgusting white bordered spark of genius, he spent a great deal of money in Amsterdam upgrading this deck. It's all very shiny, all very promo heavy, and doesn't look like this anymore.
You don't need to be a white border elitist, Ian. Come on.
No,
I mean, I am, but I'm just saying you don't need to be.
I was just giving Jamie props here. He got his nice 0 to 60 promos.
Yeah, yeah. Those are gorgeous. Those ones that don't have the boost reminder text. I
Yeah,
mean, listen, we all know what boost does. That's all it needs to say.
yeah, and we've got a draw.
Yeah,
One of the more powerful effects that came out of Bright Lights was being able to spark of genius for these crank items.
yeah,
Like the downside of spark is usually it ends your turn,
yeah.
but with this you can just regain your action point,
Hmm.
and it just nets you a card and an item. And in this case, this backup protocol red is grabbing Jamie a card back from his grave as
Yeah.
well.
It's also really good kind of flood insurance, or if you've got a very blue heavy hand, the backup protocol red tutoring that out can functionally make a blue into a red in your hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super relevant for Dash IO as well.
And we're getting back a pulse wave harpoon.
So there could still be scary things afoot here. There's a chance that it's just the 1 for 4 boost that he needs,
Oh,
but
0 to 60 blue coming in, boosting the red.
yeah.
We've got
So
two go again. All right, let's see how you feel about this one, Carlos. Obviously, he still has 3 cards in hand, card in arsenal. Card in arsenal has been there for a little while now.
yeah, we are getting a sneaking suspicion it's a 1 cost attack reaction.
Yeah, like the way he was hovering around the leave no witnesses, I figured it was something like a hiss or a venomous bite.
Yeah, yeah. There is an interesting argument to push the damage while you have the spare resource and then arsenal the token that's created.
True.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it can sometimes just be awkward to have a reaction in your arsenal as new in general, just because of the cards like Codex of Frailty. You know, it makes you have to attack, then react, then Codex.
Yeah, I've been very much on that plan of like attack reactions. Sometimes they're fine in your arsenal. It's not always where you want them.
Hmm.
Oh, Carlos getting max punished for blocking with armor on that 0 to 60 and a blue
Yeah,
T-bone coming in here. Well,
and he knows face up that there is a pulse wave harpoon following this up.
yeah.
It's
So
interesting that that Jamie chose to get the pulse wave back and then do all of this because backup protocol red is an instant effect. So this is almost playing with your foods to a certain extent.
well,
He wants Carlos to know.
he did spark first. So
Yeah, but as in
oh
he could
yeah,
still do boost and then pop the thing without breaking the chain.
could be a case where he wanted the extra card for resources or something to that effect because he's played 2 blues and he has a blue there. Has he just decided to pocket the pulse wave? Oh no! Activate Foundry Heart, T-bone, and T-bone gains 2 resources. Use one, load the pistol, fire.
Yeah,
Looks like he's just going to keep this pulse wave in reserve.
sure, sure.
He's already taken
Building up for another big turn.
yeah, he's already taken away half of New's hero ability, which is that mask.
Yeah, yeah.
The a lot, especially in the early game, New's hero text is kind of blank,
Hmm.
but using that mask as an attack reaction is a really good way of just grinding away at your opponent's hand, grinding away at their deck. If
Yeah.
they want to block, they're going down on extra cards, and if they don't want to block, you're ripping cards off them regardless.
Yeah, no. I mean, Coronet Peak at reaction speed is just incredibly powerful, and it's even better than Peak. It's not like you can just use a spare resource or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have to give a whole card into the banish zone.
Yeah, and it's really, do you want to give them a blue because it's the weakest card in your hand, but it's giving them fuel, or do you want to give away one of your premium attacks in your reds?
Hmm. Now, to be fair, the first time that Carlos transcends this game, I don't think he's going to be too upset to not have the mask because he'll
Play
be able to
attack
play
local.
attack Locor. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
But that does assume that he can give the attack he transcends off of go again. Now he has the stiletto still now, but it can be a problem I've found in my experience playing new that you play and attack, and you have the transcend ability, but you don't have the ability to follow up with anything, any actions from their banish zone. Whereas the mask you could have used as a reaction.
Yeah, it's always dangerous blocking with your equipment against dash, especially the builds that are going around at the minute,
Hmm.
because they're on 8 or 9 T-bones to try and deal with meta threats like Zen.
Yeah, yeah. Zen has a very powerful suite of armor, but it's armor that he wants to block with at very specific
Yeah.
circumstances.
Jamie just eating a CNC says,
Yeah.
yeah, send me the bill. I
Hmm.
don't need this pulse wave. I know I got it back and all, but whatever.
Spider's Bite CNC is also just still so powerful, but I think Carlos ended
Oh,
with an extra card in hand there.
yeah. We've got a big turn coming in here. We've got a throttle,
Hmm.
boosting the max velocity.
So this is
Uh,
coming in for 8 go again.
8, go again. 3 more cards in hand.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
Hmm.
This is why Tekla Core is so powerful. It lets you just keep an extra card in when you're attacking with those 2 costs.
Hmm.
It just makes it so hard to starve your dash opponent from resources, which
Yeah.
really is a game that New would love to be playing, where you're like really chipping away at their hand. And even if you chip away at their hand, if they have a core out, they've got most of the resources to play their whole turn.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, the card is incredibly powerful because there's realistically only normally two resources in Flesh and Blood. There's life and cards. And Teklocore is functionally card draw because it means that you don't need to pitch as many cards to fuel your turn.
Mhm. Yeah, and we see a Fate Foreseen, Carlos taking 4. Life totals are going down and they're going down fast.
Yeah.
Jamie is not having it. He's not been in this game for a long time anymore. This isn't looking great though. Pitching the blue, load the pistol, load the chamber,
Yeah.
pistol. And this is the other flexibility of Dash. You can just fall back on this pistol game plan, which seems kind of innocuous at first,
Hmm.
but 2 and then 2 again a couple times over the game, giving up most of your hand is a really, really good way of grinding away at your opponent's life total.
Yeah.
No one wants to give real cards to prevent 2 damage.
Oh, loading chamber and then a and pistol and now a Teklo pounder coming out. So we see why Jamie switched on to shooting with the pistol. He wanted to deploy the pounder.
That,
And with Carlos already on 14, this could be getting dicey pretty quick.
yeah, no. Teklo Pounder is usually a card you'll see at the start of a game.
Hmm.
Ooh, spicy, pitching a Cosmic Awakening.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're getting to second cycle, so I wouldn't worry too much about that one. But surgical extraction. Now, this is some premium disruption.
Yeah. And if Jamie wants to ensure this doesn't hit, he has to block it. At least 7, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah,
And it has been a hiss that's been sitting in there as we expected.
yeah. And that's going to go over the top. Give go again as well with the slither.
Oh, I've seen these lines before. If that's a codex in Carlos's hand, this could get disgusting real fast because there is a leave no witnesses in that graveyard.
Oof. Yeah, and that's Jamie's second max velocity just gone. And we hit a blue with the surgical extraction from the top of the deck.
It's time
That's
for
a
money, money,
silver.
money, money,
Now,
money.
now reveal the hand.
Oh
Oh,
my
I
God.
wonder why he wasn't blocking.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. It's an interesting one here where the high octane could potentially draw him into a hand that does something, but if you just leave him with two Teklo Pounders, he's just going to play another one.
Yeah, yeah. Like you got to take something here. Yeah, I think it has to be the high octane because that is Josh's end game.
Yeah,
Just
and
boost.
once you have the tempo as new, you've got to try and keep it anyway. So
Yeah,
if you can just invalidate the Pounders, it would be the best way to go. But
yeah.
to be
Especially,
fair, if this is a Codex, it doesn't really matter. The turn's going to be messed up either way by that
I
leave
think.
no witnesses.
I think if this is a, you take the high octane. If this is a codex, they have to discard a pounder.
Yeah, no,
You,
no, no. If it is a Codex following up, you absolutely take the high octane
yeah.
just purely because it blocks.
Great call by Carlos taking the high octane and arsenaling.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So he chose to play the Slither, and I actually do kind of support that,
Yeah.
even though there's nothing to follow it up with, just because they look good as Arsenal targets, but when you are under pressure and your life total is getting low, it can be hard to keep a hand that can use one efficiently.
Hmm. And Jamie, unfortunately, going to see the last two resources of his Techno Core go into the pistol. Not really where you want them. You want to be doing an awful lot with those
Well,
sort of turns. It's
the
fine.
pistol was already loaded here, so he could still potentially just give this go again and then play one of the pounders
Yeah.
and Arsenal pounder, but I don't think that's really where you want to be.
I imagine what he'll do is he'll load the pistol and he'll give it go again. Load the pistol, load the chamber, play the pounder.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. I don't think you want to pounder an Arsenal.
No, unless you really want to make sure your opponent is like really thinking about whether or not they want to CNC you, or would you rather your opponent was IPing themselves for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think it depends as well on just how many cards are left in Jamie's deck. We're not 100% sure how many he would have put in to begin with, but
Yeah.
if there was enough cards left in the deck, maybe there's an argument for going to try set up triple pounder and then boost him away. But I don't think you get the room against new.
No, that sounds like something that Dylan would do, though. Dylan Thompson, our national champion, famously, anytime I've played against him on Dash, he's like, "Oh, I'll go first. Oh, second pounder." Man just has the gift.
So we're seeing Jamie eat the misplayed here.
And the persuasive Prague, excellent card.
It's an
Uh,
interesting one to take the misblade when you still have the Foundry Heart block up, but it's always hard to know whether it's relevant with new.
yeah,
It's all kind of hidden information.
and sometimes you want to, if your life total is high enough, you want to take it. It's when they activate their hero text that you really need to consider
Hmm.
if you want to be taking this sort of damage and letting them attack you with three or four of your own cards.
Yeah. It's also a kind of a maybe the misblade gets value, but if you keep the Techno Foundry Heart block and use it to cover something like a Leave No Witnesses plus a three with a three block, that's guaranteed value, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Now we've and a transcend from Carlos here. What are we going to
And it is
banish?
specifically a passover, so it'll be interesting to see what he chooses to take here. He's already got one pounder in there that he can play.
Yeah, I don't think he needs a second Techno Core, but hey,
Or sorry, not pounder, yeah, Techno Core.
it's Techno Core, T-Bone, or 0 to 60.
Yeah, 0 to 60 at least attacks for two. But yeah, it's an interesting one because there is all, as we said already, a Techno Core in there.
Yeah, I see the Techno Core is just going.
Yeah,
That's fair enough.
it's something to do with your next Transcend card because again, there's no mask. Um, and like I said, Techno Core is not only good for Mechanologist, it's functionally draws whoever's using it cards because you can just choose to block with an extra blue or send an extra blue if you've just got the resources to pay for your turn from the
Oh,
Techno Core
we're
sitting
hitting
there.
a pulse wave off the persuasive prognosis.
Yeah, so that's a red.
Gain some life, and Jamie reveal the hand.
And there is reds in that hand.
Uh,
Quite a
four,
few by the looks of it.
four of them, in fact. But unless I'm mistaken on that zipper hit, but it's definitely a red T-bone, a red sprocket rocket, and a red twin drive.
Yeah.
And he's losing the twin drive.
Yeah, I would assume the zipper hit is blue if it's the twin drive that Carlos is choosing to take.
Yeah,
Just because otherwise you can't really afford to pay for it
yeah.
as cash.
I wonder what we're going to see here from Carlos now, because obviously, thanks to the beckoning misplay, that prognosis had go again.
Hmm.
I imagine we'll see a new activation at the very least.
Yeah, yeah, you'd have to assume so. Unless he has a follow-up attack in Arsenal that's relevant that he needs to pitch for.
Just looking through his graveyard, looking through his graveyard. Are we seeing potentially a Codex in Arsenal?
Yeah, we've seen a CNC come over already, so if he goes Spider's Bite, Codex back CNC, that would be revolting. But I think we know the Arsenal probably isn't a Codex, right? Because last turn was the one where he gave the go again and chose to Arsenal the
Yeah,
card
that's
rather than
true. That's
follow up.
true. Well, let's find out. Yeah. Let's see where we've got. Yeah, we have a new activation.
Hmm.
So Jamie has to reveal the top card of his deck. If it's blue, it gets banished, and then Carlos can play any blues from Jamie's banish zone.
Yeah,
It is a blue zipper hit.
looks like it. Yeah. So that gets banished. Now, The interesting thing here is that if Carlos does play one of these Teklo cores, his turn does just end. It's an action without go again.
Yeah, but it's
But yeah, there's not really. The only other option is playing some of the blue boost attacks that have gotten in there, and boost also doesn't get go again for Nu because she's not going to have mechanologist cards in her
you're
deck.
so right.
Yeah,
Jamie,
it looks like there's a lot more blues in there than we might have surmised from all this boosting that Jamie's been doing. I think there was a throttle, there was a magnetic, so you can just chuck 4 extra damage here, or you can have a Teklo core. What do you reckon, Ian? What would your line of thinking be here?
I'd have probably taken the Technocore personally, or at the very least, I would consider throwing a blue, popping the Undertow Stilettos,
Oh, it looks like that might be what's happening.
so that way we present an extra 4 points of damage and
Hmm.
we get some setup.
Yeah,
Because Jamie just saying send me the bill.
yeah, of course. He
Uh,
needs to keep those hands to support those pounders. If the pounders end up with counters at the end of the game, that's not going to be a good position for him to be in.
yeah, I've seen some how disruption can affect Dash. I believe you had a game against Dash about a year ago where they started with a hyperdriver in play and they never got rid of that one hyperdriver.
Yeah, Ice Lexi was a thing of beauty when it functioned properly. But yeah, it looks like Carlos just chose to send another free 4 damage in the magnetic shockwave, just trying to pressure Jamie's life down, probably trying to make sure that some of that pounder value is left on the table because you have to imagine if those 2 pounders do get full value,
Hmm.
Carlos is going to be having a rough time. Might not be long for this world.
Yeah, he might get smeared across the road.
Yeah, exactly.
But it looks like Carlos gave it that throttle go again, but didn't play another card out of.
Well, he gave the throttle go again and then sent the magnetic
Oh, was
shockwave,
that what it
which
was?
doesn't
Yeah.
have go again either.
Yeah.
So
So
choosing to leave the Teklo cores where they are, and I can support that decision just purely based on the fact that you really need to be applying the pressure when these pounders are in play.
yeah, like when a sprocket rocket is coming in for just 7,
Yeah,
like a 0 for 7, that seems like a deal I would take.
yeah. And also the lower Carlos's life total gets, the more relevant this pistol chamber, chipping 2 each time gets. And it's not easy to block 2. It's a funny thing to say because obviously you can cover 2 with 1 card, but you would much rather get the full 3 value out of your blocking cards.
Especially on new where you're really predicated on your value.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have this T-bone coming in here from Jamie. Obviously, we give up the gloves again.
Yeah, yeah. Get a second -1 counter on those.
Yeah, Carlos happy enough to take this 3 here.
Yeah.
Jamie thinking about what to do with this last card in hand, which I believe
I
is
believe we thought was a blue zipper hit, so I imagine it'll probably be pistol, give go again, load pistol, load chamber, shoot.
possibly.
That would be my guess.
Um, Jamie,
Unless maybe it was a red, but I think we were fairly certain it was a blue given that it was the twin drive that was banished.
yeah, you've boosted this T-bone, so you're definitely giving at least one pistol shot here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You've got the pistol loaded and the chamber loaded. There's
Yeah,
going to be more damage coming over.
it's funny as well when you look at it and you go like 2 damage, that seems fine, and then you realize that it was fine when I was at 40.
Yeah, yeah,
Now I'm at 10.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Carlos obviously giving up a Bonds of Agony to that pistol or to the
T-bone.
T-bone, taking 2 from the pistol. Jamie giving the pistol go again, putting the pistol in his pitch zone.
A
Uh,
little bit of confusion there.
yeah, load the pistol, load the chamber,
We got there in the end. Yeah, so it is a blue zipper, and
uh,
we are seeing another pistol
and
shot come
sending the
over.
pistol in for another 2 points.
Yeah. So Carlos choosing to get his blocks in where he can get the full value on the 3 block for the T-bone and eat the pistol shots. All makes sense to me. Seems like clean play.
Yeah, giving one more card to this pistol.
Yeah, like I said, Nu can end up with some pretty awkward hands. It can be hard to use the whole thing, and she also has some pretty awkward arsenal targets. So you don't always get to just choose to keep
Yeah,
all the cards.
giving up the Command and Conquer, which is literally just 6 damage in this situation where Jamie will not have an arsenal, popping the Achilles accelerator, loading the pistol, shooting another shot.
Yep.
That's the great thing about that Achilles accelerator as well. It's not just a bail you out button, it is, in fact, a very powerful way to just add an extra shot on the end of a turn.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the card is incredibly powerful. Just the ability to gain an action point is very strong.
And another surgical extraction.
Yep. This one now. very face up for Carlos. There could have been an argument potentially to take the extra two, keep the CNC as a bluff that there's going to be a bigger threat here.
Yeah, Jamie just flat out giving up 6.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It's a case of take damage and lose your best card, or lose the two
Yeah,
cards
yeah,
of
yeah.
your own choosing.
Especially because with that arousing wave still live, you
Yeah,
can't just give up 4. If Carlos
yeah.
really wants that going through, it is going through over 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've got another Sprocket Rocket for 7.
Yeah.
It's got some
0 for 7 go again's pretty good, right?
yeah, some nice balanced flesh and blood.
He didn't even have to remove 3 cards from his soul for that.
Oh man, it's just giving me Briar flashbacks. Where's my Channel Heroics? Skirmish season can't come quick enough.
Technopander is basically Channel Heroic. You should just be playing mech, it's fine.
I just sold all my mech stuff in Amsterdam.
Well, then I guess you're not going to be playing Channelman Heroic in CC again anytime soon, right? Right? They would never let you play that card again in CC, right?
No, they would never bring back Earth Heroes.
Yeah, no.
Specifically Earth
Specifically
Rune.
Earth Rune Blades. Yeah, they would never.
If anyone is wondering, yeah, you can smell copium in here too.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, we were there for the big preview event. Brian
Yeah.
Gottlieb did a great job presenting that. That was a really fun one to watch.
Yeah,
Excited for Rosetta.
watching every judge in the room panic when they saw Osilio's text.
And split cards as well. There's some funky stuff going on.
I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome year coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be very exciting for the World Championships,
Yeah.
seeing how Rosetta shakes out.
So we're seeing a 3 block come down on the Sprocket Rocket. Makes sense for Carlos to give this one a bit of thought, just because we're getting down towards the end here.
Yeah, I'd probably give a second card here as well because like new functions pretty okay off 2 card hands. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of your assassin bread and butter. Oh, covered
Covering
full
it fully
7.
with a sink. Nice.
Yeah, like your assassin bread and butter really is when you get into these low resource grind states,
Mm-hmm.
unless you draw actual CAC.
Yeah.
Like your game plan really starts setting in against, especially against aggro decks that want big resource hands.
Yeah. No, I also think that in my experience, Assassin is one of the classes that does some of the most interesting and powerful things with Tunic that's available in the game at the moment. And that Tunic counter is up, so
Yeah, we're giving up an enlightened strike here from Carlos, taking 1.
yeah.
Jamie's just going to be passing here. Good for him, keeping 2 0 cost boost cards.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see from here the deck is starting to get a little thin.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really a race between Jamie and Carlos to see where the life totals are going.
Yeah, just a bonds of attraction coming over here.
Again, still with that arousing wave sitting there being like, you can't just give me that Teklo Foundry Heart. You have to give me a card if you don't want this to hit.
Yeah, and the deck damage as well as the life gain make it not quite as irrelevant as it may normally be.
Oh, Jamie's really thinking about this one.
Yeah,
Like it may only be 1 point of value, but it's actually a 2 point swing.
yeah, because you're almost certain to be able to gain at least 1 life off of it.
Yeah, you really don't want to be in that kind of position when the margins are so fine.
In fact, I think it may be Carlos that's thinking here because I think Jamie was about to rip the card off the top, and I think Carlos is thinking about going Tunic arousing wave so that he can free up the Tunic block.
No,
But it looks
just
like
taking
he's
the
not
blue.
making that decision.
Yeah, yellow T-bone.
Yeah, I'm sure there's another yellow in Jamie's graveyard to
Spark of
banish.
Genius.
Yeah, that white border spark.
Always good thing. The one good thing about white borders is when you
They're
go
easy
through
to
a
find.
graveyard.
There it is.
Yeah, giving Carlos that extra point of life.
Yeah, evening things back up 9-9. But Jamie has a lot of value on the board.
He has
Still a
just,
very scary position for Carlos to be in.
yeah, he has a +4 sitting on the board, and he's just kept a 4 card hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting off with a 0 to 60 and a high octane. Oof. Now, if you are not familiar with Mechanologist, when they start doing high octane turns, things get scary.
Yeah. So this is a zipper hit for 9 with 2 action points in lieu.
Yeah. Gaining go again from the boost, gaining Jamie an action point.
Yeah.
Now, when you start stacking those action points, your pistol is not once per turn.
Yeah, no.
That is just a straight machine gun.
Mm-hmm. Carlos going down to 6 here.
Yeah, I think he really needs to try hard to survive this turn because this is going to
Yeah.
be a tough one. Usually, when you start hitting in these single-digit thresholds on a high octane turn, you might as well be prepared to give up.
Yeah. I think it'll just be a case that Carlos has to really hope that Jamie is light on resources here.
Yeah. Closing the combat chain, I imagine we've got a Teklo Foundry Heart activation.
Yeah.
1 and 2. That's two
Two mechanologist cards.
up to
Super
two
unlucky for Carlos.
resources. And we've got another boost card here. We've got a throttle coming in for 4. Go again, netting another action point.
Yeah.
So as long as Jamie has at least a blue in hand, that's another 3 shots.
Yeah. Which is cutting it pretty fine as far as Carlos dying goes.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm starting to see why Jamie was like, oh, well, your 1 point of life might not matter. Now, if Carlos goes to 1 and kills him, that's Jamie's fault.
Yeah, yeah. So Carlos going down to 5 here,
Taking
and
one,
it's a
yeah.
yellow, so not quite as many shots as could have been.
No, but at least we've got 2 coming in here from Jamie. Carlos really needed to think about this.
Yeah, I would imagine we
Taking
end up
2.
blocking, but maybe that one card is something that he can justify keeping as disruption.
Perhaps we have another 2 points of damage coming in here. Are we going to 1?
One is such a dangerous place to be as well. Once you get into that
Asking for a
pistol.
count of the deck. Very good, very good. And Jamie obviously using that fantastic World Championship Barcelona dice that we all have from Baz the Bard.
Mm-hmm. I love that one. That's my favorite one. It's like Kasai colors
Oh,
for
yeah.
me.
I'm a big fan of the Irish Nationals one personally because it's Briar and Chaos colors. Great.
Yeah, yeah. I've been using those a lot. I also just think it's super cool that
Yeah.
we got one at all.
Big shout out to Baz.
Yeah, yeah, I love Baz.
What? Big shout out to a lot of the UK YouTube community in general, like as well.
Hmm.
Always been they've all been huge support for the Irish community.
Yeah, and I mean just the Fab community in general. We're
Yeah,
all
for
we're, we're
true.
all lucky to have them.
Especially organizing something like this, which can't be easy and definitely takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So it looks like Carlos is choosing to go to 1. It'll be interesting to see what his turn looks like here. It could be something like a defense reaction, could be a disruptive card. Art
Yeah,
of Desire Mind is what comes over.
yeah. Jamie just giving up that last block on the Foundry Heart and saying, "Go
Yeah,
on,
you have to
show me the arousing way."
have to pop the arousing wave pretty much here. Carlos is out of time. The
Yeah,
thing is that even with the 1 coming through here, even if he gains a life, he's still within pistol for lethal range.
and it's a red.
Yeah. I do kind of support this decision from Carlos. I think he's stuck in a corner somewhat, and
Yeah,
a big difference maker could have been gaining a life and having a card to Arsenal. But unfortunately, that is not the case, especially with Jamie's deck being so small. It's
and here
pretty
we have a
likely to get
yellow
blue.
T-bone.
Yeah,
You can't even block a breakpoint with that tunic anymore. You just got to
no,
give it.
you got to give card plus tunic.
Yeah, like
That's a really rough spot to be in.
T-bone's such a powerful card when it's just like, hey, I'm boosting this. You have to give me the armor.
Yeah. Choosing to block with the Codex here, presumably because of its block value, I'd imagine Carlos is very certain that he's not going to be able to keep any cards here.
Well, Jamie's got minimum 2 pistol shots coming in, and
Yeah,
this zipper hit for 4, another breakpoint. That is going to be the game, I think, because that's
yeah.
another 2 cards for Carlos.
Unless Carlos has a defense reaction maybe here,
Yeah,
something he can cover it with 1 card, then it's lights out. But Jamie even has a spare card left over at the
yeah.
moment.
Starting.
There is a
Oh,
defense reaction though, so
spicy.
Fate coming out,
Yeah,
choosing to keep the card on top as well. Oh, another breakpoint though.
yeah,
Mech is very good at closing out games because of this.
yeah. He does have 2
Oh,
defense reactions, but it's not. It's just not.
1, yeah, he's the second defense reaction, but Pulse Wave actually can't take the action here. So, oh, it can. Sorry,
It's the
because
third
it's the
boost.
third boost. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
So
that'll be that then.
yeah. Like, turns out the 1 point of life wasn't overly relevant. Carlos choosing not to delay things any longer and just take the extra point.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. The writing's on the wall. You can see it from a mile
Yeah,
away.
pack it
Yeah,
up, pack it up, pack it up.
yeah,
Really well played game by Jamie.
yeah,
Carlos just never could quite line his disruption up.
yeah. I think that that hiss ended up being a bit of a burden in the end. The one that was in Arsenal. It took a little while for him to see a target to kind of get it cleared out.
Yeah, you never really IP yourself in Flesh and Blood, especially in Assassin, where you need to get max value out of everything.
Yeah, yeah. Like Assassin's raw numbers aren't really there. It's not trying to do what something like KO is trying to do, what something like Warrior is trying to do, where they're just trying to maths you to death. It's very much about making your opponent's life difficult and then finishing out the game while still doing that. You got to just make sure you disrupt, disrupt, disrupt. And if you do take a foot off the gas, there can be some very explosive turns, especially in the meta we're in at the moment. There's so many explosive decks running around that can
Yeah.
really punish you for letting off that disruption.
Yeah, it was very tough. Carlos didn't see any of his best cards. No Justinic, no Bonds,
Yeah, yeah,
no what's the other Siren's call?
yeah. The only thing we saw, what we saw, persuasive, surgical leave no and
Yeah,
a CNC. Like there was some there, but like I said, you kind of need to be taking something every turn. I feel as new
yeah,
and losing the mask quite early on as well was pretty rough because that's another way on a hand where you maybe don't get a card off your opponent to forcefully get a card out of them.
yeah.
So yeah, a little bit unlucky, and it has to be said that Jamie boosting a Teklo core off of the twin drive is just disgusting.
Yeah,
But
it definitely helps.
yeah,
He was coming into this league for revenge after
yeah,
nationals.
yeah,
He
yeah.
got the revenge he wanted.
Yeah, no, he very much had a
Yeah,
bone to pick with New, and looks like he's won the fight this time. So,
yeah.
congrats to Jamie. Really
Con-
well played from both
Congrats to
players.
Jamie. Good luck in the next round. Carlos, you'll get him next time. It's
Yeah,
time for the submarine run at 0-1.
yeah, yeah.
Um, So yes, thank you for putting up with us. Thank you for listening to us do some commentary. Um, Thank you for watching the league. That means nothing too. That's the only reason we get to be here doing this.
Yeah.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down below. Tell us what you thought of our commentary. Tell us what you thought of the game.
Hmm.
Um, sure, give the players a play-by-play analysis of everything they did wrong. That's what the YouTube comments are for. And
Yeah,
we'll see you in the
exactly.
next one.
Thanks for watching, guys.